Well, there are dogs in the picture. So, what's going on inside this picture, everybody?
The dogs caught the
Uh-huh.
red lakes.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. The kids, they ran into the growling dogs in the middle of the swamp. And then who turned out to be the owner of the dogs, everybody? It was the it was the it was a white man, yeah. And then he had his suspicions, but this boy in the middle, yeah, Ferdinand, he made up a amazing story. What did he tell the white
He
man?
was two shoes. He was two shoes and he was catching slaves for.
He was not exactly two shoes, but that he was catching the slaves and bringing them back to Mr. Crown. And then the white man actually bought the story. He believed the story, and then, okay, I don't want to cause any trouble with Mr. Crumb, so I'll let you go this time. But next time you're seen again, then I'm gonna catch you. Okay, so they just barely got away from the grips of the white man. Okay, yeah. And then, who is the boy carrying the cookie tray?
Homer.
Yeah, that's Homer. But why is he carrying the cookies, everybody?
Because one man asked him to serve the cookies.
Oh, where did he meet the man?
At
At the kitchen. Why was he at the kitchen? Why was Homer at the kitchen?
to find Rose.
Yeah, and I rose. So he sneaked into the plantation, risking his life, and he went into the kitchen to look for Mom. But all the cooking was done, and Mom and Anna weren't there. And then he was about to get out of the kitchen, but this white drunk man, he called over, "Hey, Darky, please bring the cookies. My boys are craving for cookies." And Homer couldn't say no to that, right? He didn't want to cause any trouble and he didn't want to make any scene, so he had no other choice but to go into the middle of the party. Yeah, and then he brought the cookies and he tried to be as invisible as possible with his wearing his hat, right? So that's the scene. That the picture is describing, right? So while reading this part, I was on the edge of my seat and I felt my heart was pounding because I was so scared that these characters would be caught or would get killed by the white master. So there were three scenes, that were very full of tension and suspense. The first one was the one that we talked about. The boys, the kids, they ran into the dogs and then the white man. But Ferdinand, coming up with a brilliant story, how he's a slave catcher. Yeah. And then they just like barely got away. Yeah. And then there was a very suspenseful moment. And then another moment, but high tension, was Homer. Oh yeah, Homer bringing the cookies. Yeah, and then he pretended to be as invisible as possible. He was afraid that other people might recognize him. Actually, there were only two people, actually three people who recognized him. The first one was Anna. The second one was Rose. The third one was Stokes, right? Yeah. And then we stopped right there, so we don't know what's gonna happen to Homer. Yeah. And then Sansi and Ferdinand. What happened to Sansi and Ferdinand, everybody?
They got caught by the militiamen.
Yeah, they went into the third barn looking for the tools and knives, and this militiaman with pink skin and then heavy shoes, and then he came in and they were caught by the militiaman, right? So at that point, when the militiaman walked in and caught Ferdinand, I felt like chills running through my spine. So that was the very suspenseful moment, and the moments filled with tension. The author really, made us readers turn the pages really fast. Okay, yeah. I think this was the most interesting part of the novel. Do you guys agree with me? Yeah. I mean, like beginning part was really interesting, and then in the middle, it kind of got boring because it was filled with descriptions of the forest and filled with descriptions of the free water. That part wasn't too interesting, but this was, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay. two people seem to be making a deal. Who is that white man?
Crumb.
Oh yeah, that's Mr. Crumb and that's Two Shoes. What kind of deal are they making, everybody?
His son and
will be.
Yeah, his son, Desmond, will be bought back again to Sutherland Plantation, and instead, in return, what did Two Shoes promise to do?
Sell the sleeve.
Sell the slaves?
bring the slaves.
Yeah, go into the swamp and find the runaway slaves and bring them back to the plantation. Yes, you know.
I have a question.
Oh.
Two Shoes was rescued by Solomon.
Oh.
Then they Two Shoes didn't have time to agree with Crumb like that. But how did Two Shoes like made the choice to do like?
Well, he pretended to escape from the plantation, right? He made the agreement at the plantation and then he pretended to run away from the plantation, right? Yeah, so it was set up from the beginning. Yeah, so they're making a deal right there, and I don't think Two Shoes was trying to be greedy. He didn't want to be a millionaire or a billionaire or anything like that. He just really wanted to be reunited with his precious son. That was it. Yeah, everybody has family, and then meeting his family. That's not really a huge wish, right? So I don't think he was being greedy or anything. But if I were in his place, what would I have done? I think that was a very tough decision that I had to make, like imaginary tough decision. Well, I mean, it's very easy to say betraying other people is wrong. I mean, it's that easily said, but if I were in his place, losing one's child, that's unimaginable pain. So that's a very tough decision. But then I came to my own conclusion. So after thinking a lot, I would decide not to betray my fellow men because Two Shoes, he experienced being separated with his family, so he knows how painful that is. But if he brings back the runaway slaves back to the plantation, then those people will be separated from their families and they are going to go through the same pain that Two Shoes went through. So he knows how heart-aching and how sorrowful it is to be separated from his family. So he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have tried to put other people into the same pain and same suffering. Yeah. I mean, his action is partly justified because it was not because of his personal fault, but it was the fault of the slavery. It was the fault of the system. Under slavery, he had two options, but both options were painful. Yeah, and then both options were impossible. So I feel bad for Two Shoes. I feel sorry for him that he had to make such a painful decision. Okay, so everybody, for 45 seconds, let's all practice our answers. Yeah, loudly all together. Yeah, and then it's gonna be So Yoon, the first person. Okay, let's practice loudly all together. Ready, set, start. Well, those chapters were full of suspense and thrills, so this was basically my favorite part. Well, the author built up tension and suspense through the three scenes. First of all, the kids running into the dogs and almost getting caught by the white man, but Ferdinand coming up with a brilliant excuse so they got away from the white man. And then the next scene was Homer being spotted by a white man who was demanding cookies to be brought to the party, and then he had no other choice but to go into the middle of the party. But thanks to Anna and thanks to Rose, he was not caught at the scene. So those were the moments who just like kept me on the edge of my seat and kept turning the pages. Okay, all right. So Unita, Cheyoni, cover your ears and practice. Ready, set, start.
In this chapter, but the most tension thing that I felt was when Sensi cut the knife to the white man because that was an unacceptable thing to for me because Sensi was a wild kid, so maybe there was like normal for Sensi, but cutting people was not could not be justified. And the second question, I think two shoes has been wrong because bringing back his wife and bringing back his son is only good for two people, but
Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I was also surprised when Sanzi just like swung her knife and cut the man. Yeah, because like at that moment I thought that, oh, Sanzi, you're just completely caught. Sanzi, again, you're bringing this disaster to your people. Oh, but then surprisingly she got away. Good, very good, Soyun. Yeah. Let's move on to Cheyenne. Cheyenne, you practice. Ready, set, start.
I think I can a little bit agree with Tutus because for
Mhm.
us it's easy to say love is big, but we can't really feel it without experiencing tragedy. So I think he was just thinking about his son and his how he was painful. And I think that was why he acted like that. I think he was just focused on his love and his family. So I think he was not able to see the big side, and he was just doing what is good for him.
Oh yeah, he was just like too much absorbed in his own pain, so he couldn't see the possible pain that he could bring to other people. But we have never been parents in our life, so we don't really understand. We can't really imagine what kind of pain he might be going through. Very nice, Cheon. So Unita, Uni practice. Ready, set, start.
In the first question, I thought that the saddest part was when Stokes caught Homer. It is because Homer was in danger of getting caught, so it was really concerning and intriguing. Also, in the second question, I think Two Shoes' action can be justified or partly justified. It is because Two Shoes was in a situation in losing his son, so he earned back his son, earning personal gain, but to get harm to the people in Freewater. However, it can be partly justified because slavery was a really harsh condition, and had no choice but to retrieve his son.
Oh, okay. So stocks recognize him right away, and then it just like sent chills throughout our body. And then Two Shoes' action can be partly justified because of the particular system that they were suffering under. Very good, Yuna. Awesome. Leonita, when you practice, ready, set, start.
Although they will tension by making unexpected things happen. For example, the kids almost got to completion or to encounter the white man. So while reading this book, it is really thrilling and interesting. Second question. Two shoes in the book will come to see his family, but I wouldn't have made such a choice if I were him because he's very dangerous to deal with. One might use him to achieve what he wants, and I think it's very bold to betray people who believe in him.
Oh, okay. The author puts the kids into a dangerous situation after another, and then unimaginable ways allow the kids to run away and then get away. So these were the moments when we were just like gripping our fist and then just like rooting for these kids for safety. Very good, yeah. 은지타, 진원이 practice. Ready, set, start.
He also intentionally made the situation wrong with the plan. So, for example, when Santa and Ferdinand went to the room and found the tools, the environment was really dark, and I couldn't expect the mortician man coming to the room. And for question number two, Two Shoes made a deal with Master Chrome that if he tells him where the blue water is, Master Chrome will buy his son back. I don't think it's justified, but it is understandable because losing one family is really painful, and it sounds really selfish. But if I were Two Shoes, I would make the same decision too.
Oh, yeah. So his action cannot be justified, but still understandable. Because of his sadness, he might have lost his mind. He might have lost his sense and logical thinking ability. Very good, Eunjae. Thank you very much. All right. 진원이 talk, J1 practice. Ready, set, start.
The scene most intensely was the scene when the white man asked Homer to serve cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Stokes knows the face of Homer, and I think Homer was in danger of being caught. So I think we report it has been a lot. And for the second question, I wouldn't deal with Mr. When if I was his shoes.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't guarantee if two shoes is free when we have the deal,
Mm-hmm.
and the people with like free water wouldn't be free like kids. So I
Oh, you wouldn't make a deal with Mr. Crumb because Mr. Crumb is a cunning and then cruel guy. So there's no guarantee that he's gonna keep his promise and bring his son back. Very good, very clever, Jinwon. Okay, asking Suleiman would be a better option, to rescue Desmond, right? Rather than dealing with Mr. Crumb. So Two Shoes is kind of dumb, I think. Okay, J1 talk and Juyeon practice. Ready, set, start.
The most tension of the scene was the Sally and Ferdinand getting cut by Nelation because for the first scene, Ferdinand was very smart and it resolved. And for the second scene, Homer has experience and smart enough so it can be so easy. But Sandy has no experience about the white man and Nelation, so it can be very dangerous. And Sandy doesn't have a awareness, doesn't have a doesn't scare, so it can be very dangerous.
Oh, okay. Sanzi and Werner are just like locked inside the barn. That is the most tense moment, tense scene because there's nowhere to run. Yeah, but then Sanzi with the knife, she brutally cut the man. We never imagined that would happen, right? Okay, Jaewon, I agree with you. Okay, Q&A talk and nobody move. Ready, set, start.
Most tension part was when Homer went into flotation because when they get caught, they will be captured again. And Homer's plan was very good. And yeah, it was tensioning to me. And also when the dogs were in front of the kids, it wasn't tensioning, but in Ferdinand's story, it was very brilliant and it was fun to me. And second question, this deal is very selfish, so I wouldn't do it because family is very, very.
Oh yeah, this deal is selfish because if your family is precious, everybody else's family is equally precious, right? Very good. Thank you, Gyuhyun.